June 30th, 2009, Dwain Forsythe was in a tragic accident while mowing his rent property. He hit a 50-gallon drum, and when he did, it pinned him in between the tractor and the mower. The mower ran over his leg and amputated it below the knee. Okay.
It was June the 30th, 2009, and it was a Tuesday afternoon. We had a heat wave going on, and it had been in excess of 100 degrees for days. And I was scheduled for knee replacement surgery on my right leg the next morning at 6 o'clock. So I was out cleaning up and working on my rental property, and I was mowing on my Kubota diesel tractor. And I had been there since about 2 o'clock and was mowing, and finally decided I'd run out of time, so I'd run back to the fence line with the tractor and mow along the fence line. In the process of mowing the fence line, I made a loop and then turned around and ducked underneath the tree limb. And when I ducked underneath the tree limb, to avoid from being knocked off the tractor, I also misjudged a burn barrel that I had in the brush next to where I was mowing, and my tire on my tractor hooked that burn barrel and went up on top of the barrel, and my tractor was flipping over, and I was hanging on when I ducked underneath that tree limb. So to avoid being chopped up underneath the tractor, I threw myself off of it as hard as I could, and I landed belly first off to the left side of the tractor. And when I landed, I immediately did a flip, and I flipped my left leg over on top of my right leg, and I was pushing away from the tractor, trying to keep the tractor from rolling over me, and I pushed and pushed, but it rolled over the middle of me. And when it finally got over the top of me, after it rolled over me, it dropped down and it hit that left leg with a bush hog blade, and it filleted my leg from the knee all the way down to the ankle, and it caused all the skin to be ganged in behind the leg, and the second swipe of the blade hit my kneecap and sliced a half a dinner plate size disc off of my knee down into the tibia, and it laid that over on top of my leg. And my foot was still in my shoe. It cut off two of my toes, and at that point in time, I had a man that I'd picked up to help me, and he was off about 100 yards away, mowing with a machete. He was knocking down brush on the fence line and cleaning stuff up, and he couldn't hear me. The tractor finally went off and ran into a tree, and when it ran into the tree, it died, and he was able to hear me hollering for help. And he finally came over looking for me and found me laying on my back, and I told him that I needed a cell phone and I needed a belt, and he went looking for a belt and a cell phone. He came back in about 5 minutes with a belt and a cell phone. We took the belt and put it around my leg above the knee and created a tourniquet, and we strapped it real good, and he held that and kept the tension on it so that it would slow down the blood loss. And the guy that came with him had a cell phone, so he called 911, and the ambulance came to pick me up. They walked all the way through the brush with a basket and laid it down, and they apologized for having to handle me, and they put me on a body board and strapped me on that and put me in a basket and walked me out and took me to the ambulance. I was getting ready to leave, and I realized that I had forgotten to pay the man that was there that had been helping me. So I stopped the EMTs and told them that we needed to pay the guy. And they said, no, we can wait till later. And I said, no, let's do it right now. So they took some money out of my billfold and supposedly gave him the money, but in turn I realized later they gave it to the wrong guy. And the guy discovered the mistake and gave my helper the money, and then turned around and gave him a ride home. I made it to the hospital, and at that point they were doing physicals for football players. And I went in, and it was kind of Grand Central Station, and I remember everything up until the point where they started cutting my clothes off of me. And at that point they put me under and knocked me out, and I ended up going through 8 surgeries, and 2 amputations as a result of losing my leg. The first swipe of the blade broke the leg in two down below the knee and above the ankle, and the second swipe took my kneecap off. They tried to save my kneecap so that my leg would move, and they were unsuccessful. And on July the 11th, 12 days later, they went in on Saturday afternoon about 4 o'clock and cut off my leg again above the knee. And as a result of that, I survived the whole ordeal and was able to go home on the 18th of July, 2009. And I've been working hard ever since to do normal things, to do everything that I could do, to stay in good health and to stay active. And so I've ended up with a good leg, artificial leg. It's called a sea leg. And it's all the way up to my groin as far as a socket. And then I have a computer in the knee with a vacuum system made in Germany. And with that, I'm able to walk and get around and pretty well do just about everything that I think I ought to do right now. And it's been a blessing, and my cup is full. And life is never the same after you lose a leg. Everything changes, but your perspective and what you appreciate changes because of the loss. And so I've been blessed to be able to have a second chance to live life to the fullest. And God has been good.
As you can tell, Dwain Forsyth is a very caring man, very active man too. He loves and cares about everybody. Even on that day when he was about to lose his life, he even paid those guys. Dwain Forsyth is a very caring and loves to work on land too.